My father is a megachurch pastor in Austin, Texas. 2 weeks before my wedding, he stood behind his pulpit and told 2,800 people he would not be attending because I was marrying damaged goods, a widower with a 6-year-old daughter. He said it while I was sitting in the front row. He said, "Godly women do not take on another woman's burden." He said, "My fiancé's dead wife was a red flag." He asked the congregation to pray that I would see the truth. My mother sat beside him and nodded along. My name is Mary Cadet. I am 29 years old, and I want you to know what happened when that burden, a first grader, walked down my wedding aisle holding a sign that 11 million people would see. Because what that little girl wrote destroyed everything my father built in one sentence. Before I tell you what the sign said, tell me in the comments, if your own father humiliated you from the pulpit in front of 2,800 people, would you ever forgive him? This is how it all started. I grew up in Grace Community Church, a church with 2,800 members. My father built it from a rented elementary school cafeteria in 1997 into a huge campus with a coffee bar and its own parking team. Sunday mornings were a performance. My family always sat in the front row. Same seats, same smiles, same polished clothes. My mother made sure my brother and I looked perfect because the cameras were always rolling. Sometimes she would pull me into the church office bathroom if my dress was wrinkled or my hair looked messy. She would say, "Do you want people to think we are falling apart?" There were rules nobody wrote down, but everyone knew them. Do not date outside the church. Do not question leadership. Do not talk about family problems. And never marry anyone who might complicate the family image. My father always said, "Our family is not like other families. We are held to a higher standard." He talked about people like they were quarterly reports. My older brother learnt the rules early. At 26, he married a worship leader from another megachurch. My father officiated proudly because she fit the image perfectly. I did not realize I was performing until I met someone who was not. At 27, I became an elementary school counselor in Austin. Watching children deal with real problems made me realize how shallow my family's faith had always been. At church, we talked about grace for 2 hours every Sunday, but nobody was allowed to be broken. Everyone had to arrive already fixed. In May 2023, the school held a reading fundraiser under the stars in a park. I was organizing it. That is where I met Ethan Harper. His daughter, Anna, wore a yellow dress covered in little books. She was reading aloud to a group of children. She could not have been more than 4, but she read beautifully. Her father stood a few feet away, proud but quiet. When the reading ended, I saw him picking up trash left behind by other families. Nobody had asked him to. He was doing it because it needed to be done. I walked over. "You do not have to do that." He smiled. I know. Anna loves these events. Her mum used to read to her every night. We are trying to keep that going. Her mum, past tense. I did not ask questions. I just helped him pick up cups and napkins. Before he left, I watched him braid his daughter's hair. Gently, patiently. I had never seen a man do that before. A few months later, I knew his whole story. Ethan was 32. He was a middle school history teacher and assistant basketball coach. His wife, Anna, had died 6 years earlier during an emergency C-section. Amniotic fluid embolism. Fast. Brutal. She was alive at midnight. Dead before sunrise. The baby survived. He raised his daughter alone. He never dated anyone. He worked, took care of Anna, and wrote letters in a journal to his late wife about every milestone their daughter reached. One day he told me, "I want Anna to know that her mother was part of every moment, even the ones she could not be here for." By fall 2023, we were serious. Anna called me Miss Mary. Sometimes she would ask, "Do you think my mommy in heaven knows you are nice to us?" And I would say, "I think she does, sweetheart." Our first real date was September 9th, 2023, at Franklin Barbecue. We talked about grief, faith, and what it means to rebuild a life after tragedy. He did not talk about faith like it was a resume. He talked about it like it was an ongoing conversation. In December 2023, I brought him home to meet my parents. They were polite. They asked about his work, his daughter, and his late wife. After he left, my father said, "He seems like a nice man, but Mary, think about what you are taking on." Like his daughter was a burden. Ethan proposed on June 15, 2024, at Zilker Botanical Garden. Anna helped him choose the ring. When he got down on one knee, Anna held up a sign that said, "Will you be my bonus mum?" I said yes. That night, I called my parents. My father paused before saying, "A widower? Mary, are you sure?" My mother added, "What will people think? A man with a child from another woman?" Like Anna was some kind of scandal. In July, I asked my father to officiate the wedding at our church. He refused. We sat in his office. Behind him were 3 framed pictures, one with the governor, one with the worship team, and one from the church groundbreaking ceremony. There were no family photos, he said. "It sends the wrong message. A pastor's daughter marrying a man whose first marriage ended in tragedy." "His marriage did not end," I said. "His wife died." He folded his hands. "I have spent 18 years building this ministry. I cannot let personal matters compromise our witness." My mother reached for my hand. "If you insist on this, we will support you privately, but we cannot be publicly associated with the ceremony." I pulled my hand away. "So you are not coming?" My father answered, "We cannot celebrate something we do not believe is wise." I stood up. "You preach grace every Sunday, but you cannot even give it to your own daughter." Then I walked out. I booked the Botanical Garden for February 15, 2025. 60 guests, small wedding. My parents were listed at the bottom of the invitation, under the line, "The Cadet family regrets they are unable to attend." In November, I asked one last time if they would come. My father said, "I am choosing my calling." My mother hugged me and whispered, "You will understand when you are a mother. Sometimes love means saying no." But all I could think was, "I already understand. That is why I am saying yes." Eventually, my co-workers, Ethan's friends, Anna's grandparents, and even his late wife's parents stepped into the space my parents left behind. In late January, Anna had an idea. She wanted to walk down the aisle holding a sign. She kept the message secret until the wedding day. On February 15, 2025, it was warm in Austin, perfect weather. At 3:45 p.m., I checked my phone one last time. No message from my parents. I turned it off. 60 guests sat in white chairs in the garden. Then Anna appeared at the end of the aisle. White dress, purple sash. She held a rolled-up sign tied with a purple ribbon. Halfway down the aisle, she stopped. She untied the ribbon, unrolled the sign, and turned it toward the guests. In large purple letters, it said, "My daddy says love means showing up. Mary shows up for us every day. That is why she is my family now." And underneath, in smaller letters, "My mommy in heaven sent her. I know it." The entire room went silent. Then somebody started crying. I was already crying at the altar. Anna ran toward us. Ethan picked her up. I kissed her forehead. Everyone applauded. My best friend's sister had recorded the whole thing on her phone. That night, she uploaded it to TikTok with the caption, "When a first grader understands love better than most adults." The next morning, it had 180,000 views. By that night, more than 2 million. The comments were full of questions. Where are the bride's parents? This little girl understands the gospel better than most pastors. Someone recognized the venue. Someone else commented, "Wait, is this Pastor Michael Cadet's daughter from Grace Community Church?" Everything exploded. Church members confirmed that my parents had not come. Facebook groups, Christian Instagram pages, mom groups, everyone was sharing the video. By February 18th, it had reached 11.2 million views. My phone was full of missed calls and messages. My mother texted, "We need to talk." I did not answer. A week later, my father preached a sermon called "Trusting God's Plan." He never said my name, he never mentioned the wedding, but everyone knew. Church attendance started dropping. People lingered in the parking lot after service. I started getting messages. "Your parents really did not come? I do not understand. You taught us about unconditional love." In March, my mother called. "People do not know the whole story." "What story?" I asked. "You chose not to come to my wedding. That is the whole story." She said, "We can tell people we had another commitment that day." I hung up. On March 16th, I posted a statement on Instagram. I explained that my parents had taught me the words for grace, but Ethan and Anna had taught me what grace really looked like. I wrote, "My parents were afraid of what people would say. My husband teaches children about history and integrity every day. His daughter just taught millions of people about love." The post went viral too. The church disabled comments on its social media accounts. My best friend posted a photo of 2 empty chairs in the front row of our wedding with white ribbons tied around them. Caption: "Reserved for people who never came." The comments exploded. By spring 2025, my parents' church was losing more and more members. In May, they asked for family therapy. I answered, "When you are ready to apologize to Ethan and Anna, not because it looks good, but because you mean it, call me. Until then, we are done." They never replied. In June, Anna turned 7. One day, she asked me, "Why do your mommy and daddy never come to our house?" I knelt down in front of her. "Because some people in your family are not always safe for you, sweetheart, and that is okay." She thought about it for a second and nodded. "Okay." That fall, Anna's mother's mum sent me a page from her daughter's journal. Dated April 18th, 2019. Anna knew her pregnancy was high risk. She had written, "If something happens to me, I pray Ethan finds someone who will love this baby like her own. Someone patient, someone kind, someone who shows up. God, send us someone who shows up." Her mother wrote, "When I saw that video, I knew you were the answer to her prayer." I sat on the floor and cried for an hour. Later, we framed the journal page and Anna's sign in our living room. By the end of 2025, Ethan and I had created Anna's Hope Fund, a scholarship for children of single parents. We funded it with money from the viral video and donations. My parents saw the announcement and offered to contribute. I forwarded their donation anonymously. I never replied to them. Today, Anna's sign still hangs in our living room, right next to her mother's journal entry. Underneath both is a small plaque with a quote from Book of Isaiah 11 verse 6. "And a little child shall lead them." Anna is 8 now. Sometimes she still asks if her grandparents will ever come visit. I tell her, "I do not know, sweetheart, but you have so many people who love you." She always thinks about it and says, "That is a lot of people." "Yes," I tell her, "it really is." Then she runs off to play because she already knows something my parents never learnt. Family is not who you are related to. Family is who shows up.